Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is Scott once again from Comic Book Hangover with another video slash review, whatever, sharing of the books that I picked up this week. This is one of my favorite weeks of the month. This is Alterna Comics Week. And this means that quite a few of the books I'm going to be sharing today are from Alterna Comics, who publishes their books on newsprint, and most of them are priced at $1.50. So they're very affordable. Most of them are miniseries. They've only actually got 2 ongoing books, which I'll be talking about here in a second. But most of them are miniseries. They range in genres. You got sci-fi, you got kids, you got horror, you got action, you got all kinds of stuff. There's even post-apocalyptic, and there's a really good selection of books. Now they're not united, they're not connected in any way. They're all standalone, all independent of each other. But there is definitely something for everybody from Alterna Comics. So the first one up is a sci-fi action-adventure series called Exilium. Now this is one I missed the second issue of, but the book has been so entertaining. I'm hoping to be able to get at least a second printing of issue 2. I'm still reading it. It's aliens taking over, humans trying to fight back. There's some betrayal. There's just all kinds of stuff going on in this book, and very well done. And it's all wrapped up in one amazing cover. This entire series has actually had some really good covers, but and then this is no different. But Exilium, if you like your sci-fi action, this is one for you. Next up will be another Alterna Comics. This is on the low end of what they do, and this is actually one of their 2 ongoing books, ICYMI. It's in case you missed it. Here it is again. And this is a 99-cent series. Each one is reprinting early Alterna Comics stuff. They started doing their newsprint books back in 2017, and this book here basically is a way for people who are just coming into Alterna Comics to kind of check out what they've done before. And they seem to be focusing mostly on their all ages books, which they have quite a few of, including Adam Wreck. And Adam Wreck is a story about a little boy and his parents who are out exploring space for one reason or another. It's been a while since I've read it. But they get separated, the parents get captured by aliens, and the kid gets away and has to go on this adventure to try to save his parents. So kind of a basic story, but this one is told with a lot of style. The art was really fun, very energetic. The coloring, the style that they use, the colors that they use on it was what really impressed me, because it's very minimal colors. Basically what you're seeing on the cover, the oranges and the grays, as the extent of the colors that are inside. It's a lot of fun, and I do recommend it. It's actually a book that you could definitely read to your young kids. Next up is another Alterna book. This is the other ongoing book that Alterna has. It came out on a Wednesday. This is an ongoing double-sized anthology, and this is the most expensive book that Alterna puts out, and this one's $1.99. An anthology, of course, means that there's different stories in this, ranging from action to sometimes they'll have drama, they'll have comedy, sci-fi, horror. There's all kinds of stuff. Legends of Log is probably my favorite feature in this right now, and it's just about this living tree, this log. Carries around a battle axe of some sort, and he just protects his forest, protects his woods. And they're starting to sort of expand on it, kind of give an idea of what other creatures live in this world. But that being said, being one of my favorite features, I've got to also say that this cover here is an amazingly epic cover by Sean Langley. When they first solicited this book and I saw this cover, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I think I'm going to be able to find a print of this cover without the trade dress and all the writing on it. But this cover is amazing. This is by far my favorite Alterna Comics cover to come out ever, and probably one of my favorite comic book covers in a very long time. Sean Langley really knocked it out of the park with this one. I can't say enough about it and how much I really, really love this cover. But can't stick with it. Got to move on to the first Marvel comic that I picked up this week. Now this is the facsimile edition of Marvel Feature Presents #1. This is the first appearance of the Defenders. The Marvel facsimile editions, they're sort of like the True Believers books, but they're priced a little bit higher. They're at $4.99 instead of $1. And unlike the True Believers, these facsimile books, reprint these issues in their entirety. So all the ads, all the bullpens, the previews, everything, the letters pages, everything that was in the original books are going to be in this. Of course, they've updated the coloring a little bit and kind of cleaned it up some, so sort of like a remastered edition. But these are really good, especially if you're looking for books like this one here is one I've been looking for a while. Just never got a chance to pull the trigger on it. So I finally was able to get it. This is the exact same book. It's just a reprint, and I'm one of those people. I'm totally okay with having a reprint as long as I have the story and it's got the original cover. I'm totally okay with it. Next up, arguably one of the weirdest books I've picked up in a while, Metal Shark Bro, and just take a moment to kind of bask in the awesome that is this cover. You've got a shark playing a guitar, and pretty much that's all you need to know about the book. The story is there's these two guys, they're in a band, they made a deal with the devil, and they made it, they're famous, but before the devil could collect the souls, one of them fell into the water and was eaten by said shark. So the shark, as a punishment, was turned to this. He was anthropomorphized, and he is tasked with collecting a certain number of souls for the devil before he can become a regular shark again. He's got a list. The list are the people he's supposed to kill, and since he wants to be a shark again, and I mean sharks kill anyway, he has absolutely no problem with it, and he finds out that he's actually pretty good. So this issue here is part of Scout Comics Binge line. Now Binge, my assumption from reading this and looking at the ad for the upcoming stuff for this Metal Shark Bro is you get this issue here, which is sort of your beginning, your teaser a little bit. But in a couple of months, I think in July, the Metal Shark Bro trade paperback is going to come out, and that's going to be the full story. So you get your introduction here, and then you binge the rest of it when that trade paperback comes out. And this is this book was so much fun. I do recommend it. It's just so out of left field. I mean, it's just very, very entertaining. But moving on. The next Alterna book I picked up this week was Midnight Mystery number 4 of 4. This does wrap up this. It's sort of like an anthology horror series. Very good. It reminded me a lot of some of the stories I read from the EC books back in the day. Some shock suspense stories and some vault of horror stuff. This one though has a really interesting hook to it. At the end of the story, and if you haven't read it yet, I'm not going to give away any of the story. But at the very back end of the book, there is a QR code and a website that you can go to. If you scan the QR code with your phone, it takes you straight to the website. And what it gives you is basically an audio play, like what they used to do back in the day before TV was invented, when people would gather around the radio and they would listen to people basically put on a performance, complete with music and sound effects and different actors, different voice actors, and it would act out the entire program. That's what this has. And it is so much fun. The only thing I wish was that I'd have known about this at the beginning, because that's how I would have enjoyed. I would have loved to have gone through the book the first time that way. But I wound up going through the entire book again with the stage play or the radio play, and it was so much fun. This does wrap up Midnight Mysteries Volume 1. Midnight Mystery Volume 2 is going to be starting in a couple of months. Hopefully it's just as fun, just as imaginative and groundbreaking as this one is. It's just a lot of fun. So moving on real quick. Hey, look at that. Another Alterna Comics. There's another. This is number 1 issue. Mighty Mascots. This is fun. This one here is, if anybody has ever seen the cinematic train wreck called Food Fight, this is what Food Fight could have been had Food Fight been done right, had better writing, better animation, better characters, better everything. So this one here, there's every one of the characters you're seeing on the cover, except for the guy here, except for the little boy here, they are cereal mascots. And there was a chemical that was spilled on cereal boxes, and they became living beings. And so they're superhero team now, and they fight. Somebody was able to get that same substance, and they use it on other mascots, food and just other product mascots, and they become the bad guys. You got these guys are the good guys. You got all these kind of cool mascots fighting. It's just a lot of fun. This is kind of an all ages book. It's an all ages superhero book. So this is one you could definitely share with your kids, and I recommend it. It's so much fun. Again, if you sat through the hell that was Food Fight, you should definitely check this out, because this is what Food Fight could have been had it been done right. Next up is going to be Symbiote Spider-Man number 2. Mysterio's in it. Mysterio's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. Actually did his costume right. I was actually kind of impressed with it. This one takes place at the beginning of the Black Suit. So after Secret Wars, Spider-Man had this living symbiotic suit, and this basically fills in the gap of what actually happened when Spidey had that suit. And, you know, we really didn't see everything that had been going on. So this series covers that, and it does a really good job. It's very entertaining. I think it's only a 5-issue miniseries, so it's not a huge investment in it, but definitely something worth checking out. So moving on, we have the last new book I picked up, which was kind of awesome. Last week I got that Laurel and Hardy book, which was so much fun. This week is The Three Stooges, another one-shot Three Stooges from American mythology, and this one is called Astronauts. And this one here, they end up going into space. And these guys doing this book, they were originally doing them in color and kind of set them in modern times with, you know, modern things. They decided to fix that and sort of make each one like they would if it was a short. And this one is a really good example. I mean, I had so much fun. I laughed out loud so many times on this, but it was like reading or like watching a Three Stooges short. The pacing, the timing, the jokes, you know, the eye pokes and all that sort of stuff were all there, and they were timed just right. It was almost like they were working with the Stooges to do this story. This could have been a short, and it got me to thinking, how cool would it be if American mythology was able to do sort of like comic book adaptations of some of the classic shorts, like Disorder in the Court, or The Brideless Groom, you know, have some Shemp action there. If they did that, I'd be totally okay with that, because these guys are doing a great job. You know, the writing, the art, everything, and I was able to get a hold of the photo cover. Made me very, very happy. So that was the last book that I picked up that was new. Now, I have 3 other books I want to share, because I've got this thing on my wall that I've been putting my new comics in. I got space for 12, so I got 3 more spaces to fill. And in past weeks, I've shared a few random books from my collection. This month, though, I want to do sort of a theme thing. And the theme thing being for the next book that I'm going to show at the end of this month is the new Godzilla movie. So I am going to share a couple of my favorite Godzilla comic books through this month, starting with, of course, the granddaddy of them all, Marvel Comics Godzilla King of the Monsters #1. Really not a whole lot that can be said about this series that hasn't been said already, but I was very happy when I was finally able to get my little mitts on this book. So it's one I've been looking for and looking forward to getting for a very long time. I don't have the full series. I do have it in the essentials, but I don't have individuals yet. I'm getting there. I've only got a few more to get, but this is arguably one of my favorite Godzilla books, favorite covers. Another favorite cover of mine is from IDW's Godzilla in Hell miniseries. The month that this one came out, they were doing EC homage covers, and this cover just blew me away. I absolutely fell in love with it, and to this day, whenever I look at it, I want this on a poster. This would make an awesome poster. And this is a story where, you know, Godzilla somehow ended up in hell. It's not really a story that's connected to anything. It's not in continuity really anywhere in specific. But he ends up in hell and he decides he wants to leave. And, you know, if it's Godzilla, he's going to do what he wants to do. And lastly, this week, Godzilla. I think this is Kingdom of Monsters #2. This is one of the variants for it. I picked this one. I mean, it's Rodan. Rodan is one of the monsters that's in the new Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I figured, you know, I gotta share one of my favorite Rodan covers, and this is it. So that's all the books that I got this week, and hopefully check out my free comic book day and mail call video that should be posted as well. Again. Any suggestions, any constructive criticism, anything that you think I should try or do differently with these videos, let me know. So before we wrap this up, I just want to share. So there we go. Those are all the books that I picked up this week, and these are the sleeves that I was talking about that I try to fill every week. There hasn't really been a week that I think it might have been one week where I wasn't able to share any extras, but by and large, I like to fill the whole thing. And what I do is once I get on through my regular books, this is when I share the other books, like the Godzilla ones on the bottom. But once again, thank you for watching. Sorry, I have some sort of a cold or allergy thing going on here, so that's why I have these pauses. But once again, and as always, hopefully something that I shared piques your interest and you're willing to check it out. The Alterna comics, they're $1.50 for most of them. There's really not that much of an investment, and they do so many really fun books. It's really worth checking them out, and you know, even like Metal Shark Bro, just something that's just so out of left field. But hopefully I'm able to pique your interest in something new, try something different. If there's any books that that you want to share in the comments section below, just go ahead and share. Just talk about comics. This is what this is all about. So once again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much, and yeah, any feedback or anything that that you're willing to give, just go ahead and go for it, and we'll see you next week.